Hello, everybody. It's a very beautiful morning, Wednesday here in New York. Welcome once again to this channel. This channel is EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card Do It Yourself. On this channel, our hope was that we are training people to be able to file their own EB2 Green Card petition without any outside assistance or whatever is it. If only they want to take initiative and file their own green card themselves. That is what this channel is hoping to promote. And over the past days, there are a lot of things that have been going on, which I'm going to kind of update my viewers on. So let's get into action. Once again, my name is Daniel Aniniba, and I'm your host for this program, and I'm your servant, always serving you as possible. I'm going to go straight onto our slides and training for today. And today we are going to do something special, which I want us all to follow through. Today, I decided to tackle the issue of I-140 form filling because I've realized that it's creating a lot of problems for people. So it's something that I'll be doing today. So it's something I brought in whilst some issues going on needs clearance. One thing before I continue is that I want to kind of let our viewers know that first of all, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. There are a whole lot of goodies in this channel that will benefit you a lot. Your filing, adjusting to US life, even landing, immigrating, and coming to the United States. A whole lot of issues concerning immigration that we'll be talking about on this channel. So it's going to be very helpful to you. So please subscribe to the channel because your green card does not end whenever you have that card in your hand. There are greater opportunities and also challenges ahead when you come or arrive in the United States. So it's very much important that you continue following this channel. Please subscribe and share with your friends, share with people that are interested also in it, which all are going to benefit you in the long run. So I want to also kind of always say this, and I always put it there that as a disclaimer, we are not an attorney. Though we are going through some kind of immigration law training, I'm not qualified as an attorney to advise you on your eligibility, but you have to be able to decipher for yourself after reading the eligibility criteria. If you qualify, you should be able to know that. So we are not an attorney at all. We are only assisting you in filing of the petition and filing of your forms, and whatever information you are taking here is at your own discretion. Please, if you need a lawyer to represent you in anything, you can go ahead, feel free and hire a lawyer, but we are here to provide assistance to you, especially for those who are not able to afford an immigration attorney. So please take note of that. One announcement I want to make is that our content is facing a very big opposition from some attorneys within and out of New York. So it's going to affect how we disseminate information going forward. You know that people always want to play monopoly over certain businesses. So not everybody is going to be happy with what we are doing. So I'm very much glad that we are helping. We are helping a lot of people, and it's not illegal at all. Just that other people are not happy with what we are doing because we are putting more information. If you go onto YouTube channels, a whole lot of channels across, it's our channel that we are giving the information you need to file actually on your own, and people may not be happy with it. I'm not perturbed at all. I'm not shaking. I'm not waving. My focus is to continue helping people, and that's what I'm going to do. But I just wanted to know that it's going to really affecting how we are disseminating information concerning this channel, and until all issues are cleared going forward, our flow of the training is going to be interrupted a bit, especially when it comes to chapter 4 and 5 on the balance argument. I was really hoping that we can really zoom into that straight as we are finishing exceptional abilities, but I have to put it on hold for now until all issues are cleared. Then I'll go on to the chapter 4 and chapter 5. But right now, I believe that you have all the arsenals, all the abilities at your disposal to be able to file your own green card. And so please don't be perturbed at all. Don't let chapter 4 and chapter 5. I've already discussed this previously in other videos. I've given highlights on what chapter 4 and chapter 5 are. You can always go back there and replay those videos and kind of get a glimpse on how these chapters pan out. But I was hoping to show you a real-time petition of how it was filed. And like I said, other people seem not to be happy with what we are doing. So until other issues are cleared, I have to pause the brakes right now on that. And also, I also let you know that I'll be releasing regular videos on EB2. That doesn't mean I'm stopping. We are going to continue releasing regular videos on EB2 National Interest Waiver, which is going to help a lot. So stay tuned. Also, I want you to know that if you can contact me directly, if you need help with anything, recently I've been doing a lot of editing of petition for people, trying to edit their petition for them, especially wording, phrasing, formatting. If you want me to be doing that, I can be doing that. I can also proofread your petition if you want me to be proofreading, to make comments where comments are needed. Before you make a final submission, because you want to submit your best. Paying $700 at least, at minimum, to file this petition is quite a money for a lot of people, especially in developing countries. So you want to make sure that you have submitted your best petition. So you can reach me if you want me to also proofread your petition for you, and also letters of recommendation. If you want me to proofread letter of recommendation for you before they go out, I can equally do that and make comments where comments are needed. Certain phrases which are needed that have to be there, I can also do that for you. Or a general assessment of your draft. Let's say you are done and everything and ready to submit. You want me to look at your draft and make a general assessment of it, of the strength of your draft, the strength of your petition. I can be able to do that also for you. An honest assessment. Yeah. Also, remember I said I know draft is perfect at the first time. So whatever draft you think is so much perfect, there may be some loopholes in it. There may even be certain things you forgot to add evidence, which might attract RFE. I'll be able to look at that and point all of that onto you. And also actively drafting of your petition for you. Of late, I've realized that many people have problem with composing, especially when it comes to the English language. So they want this service of me playing active role in drafting their petition for them. And for a limited number of people, I can do that. It's drafting a petition is a huge responsibility, and I want to be able to deliver when I take such a contract. So if you want me to actively draft your petition for you, I can do that, but all of this have to be on a negotiation table. And please, it comes with a fee, not free. Please, this is a whole lot of work, loads of work, and if you want me to get involved in this, please, I always entreat that you be respectful of my time, and also know that it's not a free service. Please, I'm talking from previous experience of how people always want things to be done. So please take note of that. Yeah, so before we go into the filling of the I-140 form, which is a very on-demand request that people really want us to go into, I want you to know what we did last week. And last week, we were looking at exceptional abilities. Remember that chapter 1, we are looking at advanced degree, professional or its equivalent. Chapter 2, we are going to talk about intrinsic merit, national importance, national interest. All of those are left for chapter 2. Chapter 3, you are going to go into exceptional abilities. What are some of the things concerning your profile that makes you unique and stand out? Some of your achievements, some of your leadership roles. So we realize that exceptional abilities is not a kind of a cap-fitted-all process. People have different exceptional abilities that they can document, and whatever it is, make sure that at least you are meeting 3 out of all the listed exceptional abilities, at least 3. You should be able to document at least 3 of it. Make sure that you're on a good side of the immigration law. So take note of that. And chapter 4 was going to go into on balance, why it's important to waive the job offer requirement for you. So if you want any other additional information on that, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will be able to gladly help. So at this moment, I want us to go into action and look at filling the form I-140. Form I-140, which is the petition for alien worker. Remember that when you are filing EB2 National Interest Waiver green card, you are going to fill government forms. And one of the important forms, the first and most important form you are going to fill is the form I-140. So we are going to look at how you can even retrieve this I-140 form and some of the important information you need to know about this type of form. So let's get straight into action. So this is what I'm going to do. For now, I'm going to share the general screen where I'll be able to walk you through a whole lot of these processes, so that it becomes very seamless. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lower this one for now, and for now, I'm going to go into my Mozilla browser. So on my Mozilla, I'm going to go into this one, and I'm going to type USCIS form I-140. This is how you retrieve the form. Please, whenever you want any information, the first point of information you want to read is the USCIS website. That is the central website, not attorney's website. Try and read the central information from the USCIS website. And later, if you want any secondary information, you can just look at other attorneys' websites or other kind of immigration law experts websites. But the central law actually lies with the USCIS website. So the USCIS website is where you can get a form I-140. So I'll go there straight, and when you open the USCIS website, there are some announcements, which is very important that you read. It says that on June 1st, 2022, USCIS will begin to phase in premium processing upgrades for certain previously filed I-140 petitions requesting E13 classification for multinational executives and managers. Only July 1st will US begin to phase in premium processing upgrades for certain previously filed from I-140 petitions requesting E21 national interest waiver classification and additional form I-140 petition requesting E13 multinational executive manager classification. Please see form I-140 information below regarding upgrade schedule and when new petition may be filed requesting premium processing. Yeah, so it wasn't happening in our time, but recently USCIS have begun processing, going through premium processing. So those who don't understand premium processing is when you file your petition, mostly it's going to take a bit of long time to get approved. You are looking at somewhere between 7 to 9 months to get approval decision or rejection decision or RFE, even if you are expecting one. But USCIS is bringing in a service where you can pay extra fees to get your form adjudicated within 1 month. So people are beginning to find that service useful and they want to take advantage of that. So if it's something you want to take advantage of that, you can feel free and also pay for that additional service to get a decision earlier. But remember that whether you are requesting for premium processing or not, it doesn't affect your case in any way. I've seen premium processing where the cases are denied, and I've seen premium processing where the cases are approved. So requesting premium processing should not affect the status of your case in any way. So take note of that. It only expedites the decision which is going to be made on your form. So that is it. So they have that, and for video, we don't want to veer too much into premium processing. We are going to look at the form itself. And whenever you retrieve any USCIS form, the form comes with all other information concerning the form. That's the form itself and also the instructions for filling the form. At any point in time when you are lost, you can consult the instructions. But I realize that the instructions for the form I-140 is not that comprehensive when it comes to filling it. So that's why we have to make this video to clarify certain issues. So let's look at this. We're looking at edition date. The first thing we want to look at is edition date. When this form is valid up to, it says that we will also accept 2018 editions. You can find the edition date at the bottom. You can find the edition date at the bottom of the form. Now, every form has an edition date when that form expired. Okay, so some forms expired soon, and USCIS will bring an updated form of it depending on the requirements of information they need. So every form has some expiry date. Take note and pay attention to the form you are actually using to file your petition. And where to file also. When you fill this form, where are you going to file it? It's also very important. The filing address for form I-140, you can get it there through this link. Later you can look at it. Now the filing fee, like I said, as of now, the filing fee stands at $700 to file this form. So you need $700 to be able to file this form, especially if you are filing from outside. That's the fee I think you should just incur for now. Later fees come when we are going through consular processing. Of course, you have to pay consular visa fees and the rest. But for now, to get your form petition approved, the first stage of it, you have to pay this fee, get your money ready. Checklist of required documents you need. So take note of that. Special instructions can also be filed here. So take note of that. So we are interested more in the form I-140 itself. So I will click on it and download it if possible. Now, one thing I always tell people is that make sure that you download the form, because if you don't download it, it will be very difficult to save information you have typed in here. So if I were you, I'll come to this button, which is the download button, and download the form onto your computer. With that way, you can save the information. And later video, we're talking about how to organize your petition, your forms, and you have to be having very good organizational skills, how to organize all your documents into cloud so that you can always view it or share even that your information with other people. I have some of my trainees who are going through that. She did a very good organizational work, and I really feel happy whenever I open her file. She has really organized and added even like date status of whether this task is achieved or not achieved. I really like the way she has really organized it. So try and make sure that you have a very good project management experience and file management experience whenever you are gathering evidence for your EB2 national interest waiver. You don't want all your files scattered on your computer on different paths. Put all of them in a folder. If possible, save them on a cloud. It's going to help you a lot. So when you retrieve or download, let's imagine at this point you have downloaded a form. This is what comes up when you download your form. And let's look at it. The expiry date, this information is very important. This form actually expires on March 31st, 2024. That means after March 31st, 2024, USCIS will release a new version of this form. But from now to March 31st, 2024, this form is very valid and very good to go and good to be used. Now, the first part of this form actually is not your business. Leave that for USCIS use only. Now, this part is going to be completed if you're using an attorney. The attorney has to click this part and insert his attorney or state bar number, meaning you are being represented by an attorney. So take note of that. Now, some people decide to create USCIS online account number. Some of them want to file it online. I don't usually do this, but other people try to file their application online. You can also do that if you want, but that means you have to create an online account with USCIS to have this kind of online account number. So you are going to actually start filling your form here. And this is where a lot of the information are going to go. So the first part of the information is information about a person or organization filing this form. Before I continue, I want you to get this clear. Form I-140 is used by a whole lot of visa categories. Not only EB2 national interest waiver. And people going through the regular EB2 use it. People going through all other visa classifications also use it. So there are a whole lot of different visa classifications that make use of this form. So there are some information which are not going to be relevant to you or related to you because it is there to also serve other people. So take note of that. There are some places is requesting for job or whatever it is, job information. That is for people who already have a job and the company is filing EB2 for them. They equally use this information. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't get so stressed out that there are certain information you are not able to get or get to fill it because probably may not apply to you. And when it doesn't apply to you, when any information doesn't apply to you, use an NA, which is a not applicable on it on that part, and it should be able to be good. Now, for family name, if you don't have any family name, for instance, for person filing this petition, it's requesting for a family name, so you're going to enter your family name there. So just type in the name at all. Let's say your family name is, let's say, for example, like Silly. It's a family name, and your given name is, let's say John. Type your name there as a given name. Now the middle name. Some people have middle name, others don't have. Mostly, I don't expect you typing not applicable here because at times certain officers may interpret this as your middle name. which is some are not applicable. So I will leave it that. So your family and given name only should be able to serve that. Then you come to organization name. Organization name actually have to do with the organization that probably is filing this form for you, or probably where you are currently working. But if I were you and you are filing this form on your own for requesting national interest waiver, I would just not worry myself with this. I'll just type in not applicable if possible and move on with it. So company organization name, if a company is filing for you, of course, that company will be entering their name there. Now it comes to mailing address. So when it comes to mailing address, this is where you're going to put in your mailing address, where USCIS can exchange correspondence with you. When people use immigration attorneys, most of the time the attorney use their address so that they can receive correspondence for their clients. It has been found that whenever there are mails or correspondence circulating within the United States, faster than somebody who is, let's say, somewhere in Pakistan or Brazil, receiving a correspondence from USCIS, the mail even can get missing. So what I do at times, I advise people to use get a US address where it is very active address that people can receive letters on their behalf. Because correspondence in the United States is faster than correspondence overseas. So if a USCIS have to send your correspondence overseas, at times it may take a long time to reach you. At times the mail can get missing. So you don't want to risk that, because USCIS actually will not. I don't know how to put it. Will not actually be pursuing the mail to make sure you have actually received it. So if you don't receive it, you go a long way to harm your petition. Maybe it's an RFE, request for evidence. And request for evidence, they give you at least 90 days to respond. And your mail is kind of hanging in the air or somewhere lost in some cargo van, is going to be problematic. So it's good at times you find a US address to use for your petition. It's not a requirement, but it's good. I'm only recommending. So take note of that. So in care name, that the person who owns that address, let's say somebody by name John Doe owns this address, you just put it there, the street number, you put it there, let's say 111 EB2 Drive, something like that, or EB2 Road, something like that. So any address at all that the person is living, the street address. Here it comes to apartment. Here in the United States, certain apartments have apartment numbers. If the person have an apartment, for instance, you may want to put the apartment number down so that I go straight to the apartment number. So certain address have apartment numbers. You just can put the apartment number there, and that's it. And the city, let's say that you're living in somewhere like Detroit, or let's say Chicago. So probably let's say Chicago will be your city. State of Chicago, of course, Chicago is found in the state called Illinois. As an example, if you want to, if you're using Chicago, that means your state's going to be in Illinois. And a zip code, US address comes with zip code. If you are using overseas address, of course, many overseas address don't use the zip code style, so you can leave that place blank. Province, overseas address at times have provinces. Regions, you can call it, especially in Ghana, we call it regions. So take note of that. Postal code, I found this thing not common with US address. If your address where you have a postal code, you can enter that there, and also a country. Of course, if you have to enter your country there. Now you come to the other part, other information, IRS employer identification number. So let's say you are having a business in the US and you're having an IRS number. It's important that you enter your IRS employer number. Let's say if you're owning a business in the US. US Social Security number, I don't expect many people to have it, especially, but if you are, let's say, if an F1 student filing this petition, of course, in the US already, you may be having a Social Security number, and it's important that you put it in there. Withholding any information is actually criminal. So if you have any Social Security number and you are currently in the US tribe, make sure that you update it there. USCIS account number, like I said, if you have opened an online account and have an account number, you can also add that one there. Now you come to part 2. And what is part 2? Part 2 is petition type. Like I said, there are different people who are filing this petition using this form. So you see, even like I said, this petition is filed for a particular purpose. And what is your purpose of filing it? That's why you're going to select from the list. Now, if you look at the first one, 1A, an alien of extraordinary ability. So don't get confused with exceptional ability. Like I said, we have the EB1A. Okay, the EB1A is an alien of extraordinary ability. The term extraordinary is very different from the term exceptional. Take note of that. The USA use two terms. EB1A would mostly go with extraordinary. And when they say extraordinary, you have achieved great feat, great success. You have met that highest bar to get that green card. EB1A, let's say you're a professor, a distinguished professor with about 200 citations. Let's say you're in the medical field, pharmaceutical field, and you have invented, engineered some kind of drug, which is going to be we can commercialize in the US. All of this can go into the EB1A extraordinary category. So the extraordinary category actually is for people which have met the highest bar of getting the EB1A approved for them. So if you are filing for EB1A, you are going to select the alien of extraordinary ability. Now, there comes another one, outstanding professor or researcher. It's also coming with that. At times, mostly this one goes with the EB1B for those working in the academia and research field. So an outstanding professor or researcher, if that one is how you are filing it, especially for EB1B, you can also click the second one. A multinational executive or manager, we have also talked about all these things, especially for the EB1C or whatever it is, multinational executive or manager, mostly go through this route for the EB1C. So if you're also going through that, you can also click that one. And also a member of profession holding an advanced degree or alien of exceptional ability who is not seeking a national interest waiver. So let's look at 1D. It may be a bit confusing to you. A member of a profession holding an advanced degree or alien of exceptional ability who is not seeking a national interest waiver. So if you're not seeking a national interest waiver, then that means you are a member of profession holding an advanced degree or alien of exceptional ability where a company is filing for you. Like I said, the regular EB2 without the NIW. So if you are filing that, or if a lawyer is filing that for you, that of course that lawyer is going to click this one or select that one. So that is it. Let's look at that other one. A profession at a minimum possessing a bachelor's degree or a foreign degree equivalent to a US bachelor's degree. A professional at a minimum possessing a bachelor's degree or a foreign degree equivalent to a US bachelor's degree. This is also a typical example for some of the people that go through at times the EB3 filings. At times, most of the time, you see that nurses who go through the EB3 filings, at times they have the bachelor's degree, they don't have an advanced degree, but you are supposed to have at least an advanced degree, master's or PhD, or a bachelor's plus 5 years experience. So this one probably is used for people going through the EB3 routes. A member of a profession holding an advanced degree, a profession at a minimum possessing a bachelor's degree or foreign degree equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. This one is a skilled worker requiring at least 2 years specialized training. Also goes for some of nurses that come into the United States. So these are all other visa categories which we didn't talk about. We are only focusing on EB2 national interest waiver. So every person who is filling this form knows the reason he's filling this form, and that's why we have all these ones there. Now, any other worker can be any religious worker. Remember, we're talking about the EB4 classifications, religious worker, any other worker, and all those stuffs can also take this one. Now, this is where we have an interest, an alien applying for a national interest waiver. Of course, you are applying for a national interest waiver because you don't have a job offer requirement here. You don't meet the job offer requirement. You have not gotten a job yet, but you want a green card. So an alien applying for a national interest waiver who is a member of a profession with an advanced degree on an alien of exceptional ability. Okay, so national interest waiver is for people who have an advanced degree or exceptional ability. Advanced degree is a master's or PhD, okay, or US equivalent, or you have exceptional ability. So take note of that. And this is what you are going to click because you are seeking a national interest waiver. Now you go to part 2, petition type. This petition is being filed for select one. So there are people who are filing this form to amend a form which they have already submitted. So you can equally do that, amendment of a form. So that means if you have already filed this one and you want to make changes to it, as USCIS have received it and you want to make changes, you can click amend this previously filed petition and add a petition number. What they do is that they retrieve this one and go to that petition and kind of just make that changes of information you want to be made in there. So take note of that. Now, the part 3 is information about the person with whom you are filing, about the person for whom you are filing. So you, the beneficiary, okay, of the petition, what information that they need about you. So that is it. Let's say somebody is filing this petition for you. It's going to enter your information here. And if you are filing it on your own, that means you're also going to answer item numbers 1A to 1C. Answer item 2. Okay, yeah. So that means information about the person for whom you are filing. So that means you, the petitioner, your name will come here again. Your first name, your given name, your middle name, will come again. And again, we have the mailing address. Make sure I see the same as the mailing address probably used, which you have to maintain consistency. Okay, so take note of that. Other information, your date of birth. You make sure that you don't forget that. City, town, or birth where you were born, in the state or province of birth. Please make sure that you enter it and making sure that it's all kind of aligns with what information is in your birth certificate or your passport. Okay, you don't want that discrepancies causing problem for you down the road. Country of birth, of course. A country of birth, please be honest about it. It's not a country of citizenship, country of birth, where actually you were born. Okay, so take note of that. Country of citizenship or nationality. So it may be that you are having you were born in one country, but you are having a citizenship in any other country. Please make sure that you update that information here. And this 7, for instance, whenever you have a lot of countries to enter, and this list cannot go there, maybe you are a multi-citizen of different multinationals, multi-countries. So you may want to continue the information, and we will look at where you can actually continue information where you couldn't get enough space to enter. This part is for additional information. We'll come to that. So for now, just take note of that. You're going to update where you were born, your country of birth. Alien registration number. Alien number. I don't expect a lot of people to have this number, but if you have been in the US for a particular type of green card before, and probably say you're filing another green card because your green card was revoked or whatever it is, you may have before an alien number. So any green card holder in the US have an alien number. That's an A number you may have before. If you have any correspondence with the USCIS even before, you may also have that A number. So take note of that. US SSN, if any, we have already talked about US Social Security number. Information, his or her last arrival in the United States. Okay, so this part is for people who have come to the United States before. If any part does not apply to you, just feel free and just type in not applicable. Okay, you don't waste time on all other forms. So let's say you have not applied in come to the United States before, that means you are not going to have this information. But if you have arrived in the United States before, you have come on I-94 arrival departure record, you can easily have this form, retrieve it from US border protection websites, ICE websites. You can find this I-94 number. You enter certain information about you and you can get it. It's out of the scope of this video. We are not going to go that route, but there's a way you can easily retrieve your I-94 number, I-94 number. Now, expiration date of authorized stay. So when you came in as a visitor or a student, what is the expiration date? For most students, they write as DS, duration of status. Duration of status means that if you're a student here on F1, your status is bounded to as long as your program is valid. If you are doing a PhD, so far as you are maintaining status in your PhD registration, in your PhD program, your duration of status, DS is written in your passport as your stay is dependent on your studies. So duration of status of your student status is what actually that means. Status on form I-94. So what status you came in for I-94 with? It could be F1 status. It could be B1, B2, visa form. Whatever form that visa status you were on in the US, it could be J1. Whatever it is, please make sure that you enter that there. The passport number, of course, you know your passport number, enter there. Travel document number. Some countries don't use passport; they only use travel document. If you have that, you can enter that. If it doesn't apply to you, just enter not applicable. Country of issuance of passport, of course, which country issue your passport and the expiration date of that passport. Make sure you enter all this information there. So that is it. Now, processing information, provide the following information for the person name in part 3. What kind of information is USCIS seeking here? The alien, select one. Okay, so like I said, this green card is filed. National interest waiver is filed for 2 different categories of people: people who are already in the US and people who are also filing from out of the US to seek entry into the United States. So for those who are applying from outside the US, is this that the alien will apply for visa abroad at a US embassy or consulate. So you select one. So either you are applying for this one or you are applying for this one. Okay, and not this. So you come in between any two of them depending on the type of applicant you are. That's why we call it adjustment of status. The second one is adjustment of status. It's for those who are already lawfully permanent in the United States. Remember, lawfully permanent in the United States. So take note of that. Then we are coming to page 3. Still processing information. It says 2B. So if let's say alien is in the United States and will apply for adjustment of status to that of long permanent residence, alien's current country of residence, or if now in the United States, last country of permanent residence abroad. So before you came to the United States, what was your last country of permanent residence? Probably your home country. Most of the time will be your permanent residence before you came to the United States. You may want to enter that information there. Now, if you provided a United States address in part 3, provide a person's foreign address. Yeah, so USCIS understand that certain people filing from outside will use a US address, like I said, but still they want to know your foreign address because they do a lot of background check. They want to run a background check. They should be able to know a lot of information about you, where you reside in that country, in Pakistan, in Brazil, in Chile, in Ecuador, in South Korea, wherever you are residing. They want to know that address that you are resident there with. So make sure that you enter those addresses as it's applicable to you. If the person's native alphabet is other than the Roman letters, type or print the person's foreign name address in the native alphabet. So certain countries have different alphabetical system they use, that is very strange writing style. So that is it. It doesn't apply to you. Just you can ignore this part or probably enter and not applicable there. All right, so we're also going to look at a mailing address. If you answer yes to 6A, okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so mailing address. With the mailing address, with this part, I will still be consistent with the US address because that is where you want USCIS to send correspondence if you want. But if you are still using foreign address, you have to maintain consistency with the address you are using so that your letters don't get missing. Okay, so mailing address is mailing address where you want to receive mailing correspondence. So take note of that. If you answer yes to 6A, yes to number 6A to 10, provide case numbers in the space provided. Okay, right. Now, 6A, are you filing any petitions or any other petitions or application with this form? So, are you filing any other petitions or applications with this form? There are people who are filing multiple applications at a time. There are certain people who are using this form to file different types of applications. If it applies to you, then you may want to say yes. So take note of that. So for instance, if you are filing this form together with adjustment of status form, let's say you are in the United States, then that means, of course, if you click yes here, you have to state the type of form you are filing together with this. Some will be applying for adjustment of status. Yes to activity select all applicable modes. So some will apply for that. This one I don't know why it's not clicking, but if you download it, it should be able to work. Yeah. So you select whatever form you are filing, which is applicable to you. So this is for work authorization. People file work authorization documents so that they can begin working as their green card is processing in the United States. For those who are already in the United States, you can file from I-765. For those who want travel authorization, who want to travel advanced parole, if you are filing together with this form, remember I said that when you file together with this form and together with adjustment of status form, then it's free. So take note of that. So there are other multiple form people will be filing together with that. Now, 7 is this person for whom you are filing in removal proceedings. If you are already in removal proceedings, there are ways you go about it. Then let's say you are standing deportation in the United States courts or in removal proceeding. That means if that applies to you, click yes. Has any immigrant visa petition ever been filed by or on behalf of this person? Yeah, so let's say you are filing this form, but at the same time, you have a mother or a father who has filed another petition for you. That's, let's say, from I-129, petition for relative of US citizens to get green card. If you have already filed other immigrant petition, please make sure that you also write click yes. But if this is the only form or only green card route you are pursuing for first time and you don't have any previously immigrant petition filed, then only click no. Now, 9, are you filing this petition without an original labor certification because the original labor certification was previously submitted in support of another form? So let me explain this question. Are you filing this petition without an original labor certification because the original labor certification form was previously submitted? There are people who have already filed labor certification. I mean, for EB2, which requires job offer. This is not applicable to national interest waiver. So for national interest waiver applicants, obviously we are going to select no. Okay, but for people who are going through the regular EB2, who have gotten a job in the US and going through the regular EB2, they may want to go through the yes route. If they are not attaching labor certification because it has been found previously. So take note of that. But most of EB2 national interest waiver applicants are going to go the no route. If you are filing this petition without original labor certification, are you requesting that USCIS Citizen and Immigration request a duplicate labor certification form from the Department of Labor? Of course, for EB2 national interest waiver, labor certification does not apply to us, so we say no to that. Okay. So remember, labor certification is what you go through to get a job offer in the United States. So it's something that the employer files in addition to filing your green card for you. So take note of that. But for national interest waiver applicants, this one does not apply to us. So you are going to go the no-no route. So additional information about a petitioner. This is going to be quite a long form. So type of petitioner. So what type of petitioner are you? Like I said, it's not an employer who is filing for you. Remember that employers can equally also file national interest waiver for their employees. Yes, there are employers who do that, who file the national interest waiver for their employees. So employer can file a national interest waiver for you, or you can file a national interest waiver for yourself. So if it's being filed by an employer, this is where to be marked. If let's say you are employing a company, the company is pursuing your own green card for you, but you also want to pursue your own national interest waiver green card on your own, or you can also equally click self for yourself. If you're filing on your own, probably you don't want your company to get involved with this one you're doing. You can also do it. People do that actually to as a way of doubling their chances of getting approved. Probably the first one might encounter some hitches and this one get approved. You can always take this one and move on. You can always pursue multiple green cards. Understand this. You can pursue multiple green cards. There's no law which bar you from applying for only one type of green card at a time. You can pursue multiple green cards. So take note of that. Other. So other, for example, lawful permanent resident US citizen or any other person filing on behalf of an alien. So other, let's say you have another green card person filing for which most of the time is not that common with people. Okay. If your company or an organization is filing this form, provide the following information. The type of business, of course, if it's a business which is filing for you, date it was established, current US number of employees the company has, their gross annual income, their net annual income, next code. The next code actually is the every job has some kind of code. Any industries have some codes, so that's the next code. The industry that company is operating in. It can be manufacturing, it can be healthcare, it can be every industry have their own code. So take note of that. Now, labor certification, your case number. So if the Department of Labor, there's a labor certification for this kind of applicant, you may want to enter the case number, which in our case, all these things does not apply. So you may leave this type blank, or maybe it doesn't apply to you, just go through the not applicable route and just move on. Okay. Now, part 5. Additional information about a petitioner. Labor certification due filing date For instance, like I said, this form is not for only national interest waiver people. Okay, so we'll be talking about labor certification, labor certification. If it doesn't apply to you, just click not applicable and move on. Okay, but there's no point stressing yourself on this. If an individual is filing this petition, provide the following information. Occupation. Yes. So if you are an individual filing this petition, your occupation, what currently you are doing. It could be that currently you are a student, be honest about it. If you're a PhD student, just type it. If you're a master student, be honest about it. What students you are, type it. If you are currently working, you can be, let's say if you're university lecturer currently, currently, you may want to add it, you type that one. Any occupation you are currently working in, and your annual income. So where currently you are doing your annual income. So feel free to enter it. But most of the time it's in US dollars. And for instance, let's say your income is in cities, in Ghana cities. You want to convert it to US dollars, of course. You may want to go open another page and just enter USD. Okay, let's say Ghana cities to USD, and whatever amount you are receiving annually, just convert it. Okay, so let's say annually, after 1 year, you are receiving something like 100,000 Ghana cities. That means for an equivalent US dollars is going to be 12,281. That means the whole year you are being paid about 12,000 US dollars, which means on average every year you are being paid 1,000 US dollars. If that is it. Okay, so that is what that part of the information means. Now, this is why at times it creates a lot of confusion for people. So, part 6, job title. It says basic information about the proposed employment. Look at the heading. Basic information about the proposed employment. It does not require that you are currently working in the employment. Basic information about the proposed employment. And that means the information about the employment you are seeking to come to the United States to continue. Okay, the employment or the proposed DVI you use to file your national interest waiver petition. Okay, the proposed employment, not what currently you are doing. What currently you are doing is being dealt with in the occupation part and the dollar part. Okay, but the basic information about the proposed employment, what you are coming to the United States to do. Okay, and when you come in, what job title are you going to hold? Okay, so it's not that something you have currently. But this part requires that you do some a bit of advanced research, a little bit of research, and come up with certain things. Now, job title. Let's say I was, let's say, environmental scientist. Okay, let's say you're an environmental scientist or you're an environmental science student who's coming to the US to continue as an environmental scientist or environmental research or whatever environmental field it is. So, what is your job title? The USA doesn't want, it's not the straight title that you should be getting. You can play around it. Okay, so it can be like environmental manager, or let's say environmental scientist. Okay, or let's say you file your proposed. That's why when you are filing your petition, you're going to type your proposed DVI, what you intend doing when you come to the United States. Work plans of beneficiary, will come to that. Okay, so environmental scientist or environmental educator. So whatever field you want to come to the United States to continue working in, that's going to be, or maybe let's say systems administrator, those in the IT field. Okay, that is it. Okay, so for now, let's go with system administrator. Okay, so let's say you are coming in to work as a systems administrator. Okay, so SOC code. So people ask, how can I get this SOC code, the SOC code? Just do a bit of research here. So SOC code, US here, most of occupations are classified by the Department of Labor under SOC code. So SOC code, US. Okay, let me type it. Job SOC code. Okay, so we want to come to this website, which is bls.gov. Okay, it's a one of the labor websites. And when you come here, there are a whole lot of codes depending on type of job you are doing. So look at this list and find something which is somehow related to your area. So let's say somebody who is into systems administrator is something related to IT systems, networking, or whatever it is, computing systems. So I may want to come to computer systems. And if you come here, you should be able to find something here which relates to your information, your job you are doing. If you are in the field, of course, you're going to find information here which relates closely. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, but somehow related, somehow close. Okay, so let's say for a computer systems analyst, we have information security analyst, different types of work here. System administrator, we have database administrators. Maybe it may be somehow, but whenever you click any job, you will see that there are some descriptions of what these people do. If that description matches somehow what you do at your workplace, then that means, of course, that will be your subcode. Okay, so administer, test, implement computer database, apply knowledge in database. If that is not something that you have been doing at your workplace, probably that is, or you have not been doing that, that means that does not apply to you. Then you may want to look at other things. Okay, so computer network architects, computer information and research scientists, information security analysts. Okay, so computer occupation and all other occupations. Okay, so all these occupations, at least you should get an occupation which will somehow match with yours. Let's say a computer systems analyst, applied science engineering, business other data to develop and implement solutions to complex application problems. System administration, of course, remember issues. So I talk about system administrator. You see that it's popping up here. So that means this code is something which closely aligned with that system administrator job. So you look at 151211 and come and type that one there. Okay. Yeah. So that means you go back to your form and go and type 15112. What was the code there? Sorry. Yeah. So sorry, I came to the okay. What that is the 151211. That's code 151211. So you just come here and type in code 15 okay, that's going to be a code for systems administrator. If you're an environmental scientist, the process is the same thing. Okay, you just go there and look for the code which closely matches with environmental scientists. So I'll come to look at this code and look at life science, physical and social sciences. Yeah, most of the environmental science come under natural and life sciences. So when you come here, animal scientist, soil plant scientist, microbiologist, biological scientist, and all other. Let me see if I can find. Okay, environmental scientist, specialist including health. That means environmental health. So I would select this code. That means these people, what do? They eliminate source of pollutants, hazards, that after either the environment or public health. Okay, conduct research or perform investigation for purpose of identifying, abating, or eliminating sources of pollutants. Okay, so this was especially a code that I use. Okay, 192041. Okay, so 192041. You come in there, you type it there. Okay, and that will be your code. Now it says non-technical job description. Okay, the non-technical job description is what is the job description? What things you do? And you can easily get it there. Okay, I think it's there. You conduct research, perform investigation of purpose of identifying and eliminating source of pollutants or hazards that either affect the environment or public health. So I will just come here and just copy this statement and then post it there. Okay. Remember that space is very too small for it. So you can always continue. If you want to add all the other information there, then pages for continuation of information. That means you may want to come here and make sure that page number, what page number that one was, what part number that one was, what item were you talking about? Okay. Then you enter the information there. Okay. Continuation of the information of all the things you do, description of the job you do. So that is it. The USCIS have provided spaces that you can continue to talk about things, but I don't want to be too much of writing too much. Okay, so whatever information that does not go here. So of course here will be part 6, item 3. Okay, part 6, item 3. So probably if I go to the information continuation page, what I'm going to do is page number. Okay, so the part was part 6, item number 3, and I think it was page number something. Okay, that page was page 4. Okay, so that means you come to page 4, you come here and enter page number or page 4. Okay, that means this part, sorry, it's supposed to be here. So that means this part is a continuation of whatever part that was in the form. So when the USS officer look at this number, you can easily reference it back to the form and see that this information is continuing something in the form. Okay, you are at liberty to use this page, those pages as you want, or those additional space as you want. Okay, so we have talked about the code, the non-technical job description, and is this a full-time position? Are you coming in to work a full-time position? Of course, yes. So click that. Okay, that's the proposed employment you want to come in to do. If your answer is no, how many hours per week will you work? All normal jobs in the US carry 40 hours per week. So it can be more, especially for salaried workers. You can still work more hours and still be paid the same amount of salary. So take note of that. Is this a permanent position? Is this a permanent position? Yes, maybe. You can click yes because you want to come and work in a permanent position. Is this a new position? No, if such positions have been there for long. And wages, so it's a proposed. So for national interest waiver applicants, you are not getting, you don't have a job yet, you don't have any wages yet. But how do you know the wages? So you can go to, once again, it demands some research. Some of these things you have to do just a bit of research on it. So what I will do is just go to Google, okay, and probably type something, let's say, systems administrators salary in the US, average salary in the US. Okay, so if you look at it, I think indeed that's a very good job of giving you some of these estimates, which you can take the average. Okay, so the average salary for systems administrator is 76,226 per year. Okay, that means for per month you'll be receiving something like $5,307 per month as salary. Okay, so you can look at per week, per hour, whatever it is. Our form says per. So okay, so we are going to go per year. Okay, and just enter that information there, 75,000 something there. Okay, so that was what our research returned, wages for this job. Okay, this is how much they are paying average in the United States. So take note of that. Now, website location provides address where person will work if different from address provided, where person will work. Website location, this one, you don't have a job yet, okay? So not applicable and go your way. For EB2 national interest waiver applicants, that's what I mean, okay? You don't have that. For those who already have job and their company are filing for them, of course, website, street address, everything will be entered there. Information about the spouse and all children of person for whom you are filing. Yes, on this part, you want to enter your information about your spouse and all children for whom you are filing. When you get this green card, it's applicable to your spouse, applicable to your children, or other people relating to you. So you want to enter them. If you don't enter any information here, your green card is approved. It's very difficult updating this information in the future because you don't want to be sneaking somebody in because you just got approved. Okay, so you want to be candid and frank as possible. Even if you have a child outside marriage or a child outside marriage and you still want to enter. It's better entering them first time now than waiting or later. Some people say, okay, I have children outside marriage, but it's very complicated. I don't have custody of them. Just enter them, okay? Just enter them. It doesn't hurt. Later, if you get approved and you are not pursuing green card for them, still it's fine. But it's better entering and not pursuing. They're not entering later, you want to pursue for them, that'll be very difficult to do. Very difficult. Okay, so take note of that. So for the person for whom this, so let's say the first person go to something like your spouse family name, let's say like Akosia, first name, something like, let's say Gifty, okay. Middle name, if they're fine, not applicable, just leave it. Date of birth, of course, the country of birth, relationship. People type wife, husband, and the rest, but you can still simply say spouse. Okay. You see, applying for adjustment of status. Of course, if this person is outside of the US with you, outside, of course, you're not going to go through the adjustment of status, but you'll be going to or applying visa abroad. Okay. But if this person is already in the US with you and both of you are going through adjustment of status, then of course all of you are going to go through adjustment of status. Let's say you're a PhD student here with your wife and children already in the United States, then you are going to collect yes, then you're all going to go through adjustment of status. Okay, now person two could be somebody like your daughter, his first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, country of birth, relationship, if it's daughter, okay. Other people too decide to use the word war, okay. So that is it. So you see, or apply adjustment or settle, this one to follow the same thing, okay. So they have added up to about the fifth person, okay. Person number 3, person number 4, person number 5, person number 6. If you are a family, large family, like 10 going, okay. I know certain countries in the US, they have a lot of families, at times more than 10. Okay, so if you have more than 6 people, of course, you want to go there to the continuation form like we used for the other time and continue from there, okay. So that is it. So that means with this one, let's say, the 6th person, then you want to go through what item part are we looking at? Part 7, item number, maybe that will be item number persons. Let's say you can enter person 7 or so going, and you can also enter their or information you find here, all those information there. Okay, so that is how it is. You can always continue the list from the continuation page and the final of the form. Now let's come to part 8. The part 8 talks about statements, content information declarations. Okay, so you are declaring certain statements. For instance, if you can be a petitioner or authorized signatory, select box for item number 1A or 1B. Okay, now 1A, what does it say? I can read and understand English, and I've read and understand every question and instruction on this form and my answer to every question. Okay, if you're a self-petitioner, of course, you are going to go through this one. Okay, yeah. Now, let's say you are somebody whose English is not your language and you understand English that much, and somebody interpreted information to you, then you may say that, oh, the interpreter name in part 9, of course, part 9 is going to come. The interpreter will enter the information there. The interpreter name in part 9 has read every information to me, and I understand whatever information that is in the form. Okay, in a language which I'm fluent in. So whatever language the interpreter interpreted to you is going to be entered here. Maybe Hindi, maybe Pakistani, maybe whatever language it is. Okay, French, whatever it is, you enter it there. Or you can select number 2. It says select 1A or 1B. So 1A will go with it, and you come to number 2. And if applicable, select form item number 2. At my request, the preparer name part 10. So let's say you didn't use interpreter, but a preparer prepared for you. So maybe the preparer's name also can be the person who prepared this form. Okay, not necessarily a lawyer, but somebody who helped you prepare the form can also come under this side. So take note of that. Now, authorized signatory. Authorized signatory, people have to understand that there are people you put them in charge of your petition where they are authorized to make inquiries with USCIS on your behalf. Those are the authorized signatory to your account, okay? And if you don't have anybody of that sort, just use not applicable, okay? Authorized signatory is just somebody you are designating, a third party you are designating to make inquiries or make changes or communicate with USCIS on your behalf, okay? So take note of that. If it doesn't apply to you, just make not applicable. If you're using any authorized signatory agent or whatever it is who is going to fill this or whatever doing that for you, you can equally authorize the person to enter that there. Yeah. Now, petitioner authorized declaration and information. Copies of any documents are exact copies or whatever it is. Okay. Yeah. So your petitioner's authorized or authorized signature. So whoever prepared this petition, the petitioner or the authorized signatory, enter that whatever document they submitted is true, genuine, whatever it is, fine. Dates of signature. Whenever you sign something, try and date it. Remember, if you don't sign any part of this form, the USCIS will reject the form. Rejection is different from denial. Okay, rejection is when your form gets there is incomplete, they return everything back to you. and your fees may be forfeited. Okay, but denial means it has gone through review, it has gone through all the merits and demerits and decisions, and they have denied it. So rejection is different from denial. Whenever you are rejected, you can just make a quick amendments and refile the form again. But denial, you have to go through another steps to kind of refile. Okay, so take note of that. Now, notice to all petitioners, if you do not completely fill out this form or fail to submit required documents, USCIS may delay a decision or deny your petition. Okay. All right. Now, interpreter's contact. So, whoever interpreted this form to you, for instance, for this part we're talking about, interpreter, his name, given name, contact number, whatever it is, go there. Interpreter's contact information, go there. Interpreter certification. Interpreter will certify that he has explained everything to you in a language that you understand. Okay, the interpreter signature comes there. Okay, now the preparer's mailing address. Whoever prepared this form, his mailing address can also equally come here. In other words, preparer's contact information can also come here. Okay, so that is it. Now, preparer's statement. Preparer's statement say either the preparer is declaring he's an attorney or not an attorney. So the statement can be, I'm not an attorney or accredited representative, but I've prepared this petition on behalf of the person with the petitioner's consent. Okay. So not an attorney or accredited representative. But if you're an attorney or accredited representative, you are using an attorney, the attorney, of course, is going to enter it here. Now, there are people called paralegals, okay? Immigration paralegals. And if immigration paralegals actually are allowed to fill forms for people, but they are not allowed to represent you in court. They cannot represent you in court. They are not attorney. So if you're a paralegal, immigration paralegal, you can who's helping to fill some form for somebody. So you can also be, or is a public notary. You call people public notaries. They can also enter that I'm not an attorney, but maybe an accredited public notary. And my representation of the petitioner in this case extends that will go for an attorney. Okay, attorney goes beyond filling this form and representing you in courts if you're in removal proceedings. But if you're not an attorney or a notary or a paralegal, it states that your preparation does not extend beyond preparation of this application. Okay, so take note of that. Prepare certification, prepare signature and date. There are multiple parts you will sign and date. And all this part of the form have to do with the continuation. Remember to enter your family name, your given name and middle name, IRS employer identification number if you have any. If you don't have it, just leave it. And make sure that that is it. And this form is just a continuation of all that information that you are not able to enter in the previous or the initial forms or the parts. You can just continue them here. So you see that from I-140 shouldn't be difficult to fill at all. It should be something like a very easy process to go through. Everybody's case is different depending on how you are filing your form I-140, which category you are filing from, whether EB1A, EB1B, EB1C. You are answering questions differently. So this particular type was for people who are applying for national interest waiver as professional holding advanced degree or exceptional ability. Yeah, I hope I've been able to help a lot today with filing of these forms, and I hope to see you same time, probably future next week or whatever time permits, to come up with also another very useful videos. So stay tuned and enjoy yourself, and please subscribe if you have not, because there are a lot of other information, and more you post questions, the more we may come up to help with certain bit of information that people need. Okay, so stay tuned and keep in touch and enjoy your day. Very beautiful day in New York, and hope to see you sometime. Bye bye.